If you're not making 167,000 in America, I don't know what you're doing. I've been making 167,000 since I was like 11 years old. If you're making 800 grand a year and you go invest 700,000 in coaching, you will change. I'm prepared to reset your mind. I'm prepared on this call to reach into your soul and maybe just remind you of a couple things. I'm going to start with number one. You can write this down if you're taking notes because one percenters take notes. A one percenter is prepared to stand up and stand out. Listen, we're prepared to go against the grain. Number one percenters, they don't focus on aligning with everybody else. They focus on aligning with their purpose. What is your purpose? My purpose is to be the bloodline breaker of my family. My purpose is to be the person that's the example. If you're making 10% of the best money in America, how much do you guys think that is? 10 percenters make $132 according to the IRS in America. 5 percenters make $335,891. 5 percenters. 1 percenters make $819,324. And 0.01 percenters make $312,964. Okay, did you guys think it would be a lot higher than that? The billionaires are making 0.0000001% of that. There's some people right here, they just want to be liked by everybody. You can't be in the 1% if you want to be liked by everybody. Why? Because the 1%, they're going to have a lot of critics. When I was at car sales, I thought adversity was like facing my managers. People didn't want to see me growing. You know, I'm doing too much. Everybody's coming to me and they're like, Ian, you're always thinking bigger. You're breaking the system. The 1%er is able to face adversity at a level that most people can't imagine. Okay? Which brings me into number two. You got to harness your personal power. Guys, the 2%, the 3%, the 5%, the 8%, the 10%, everything can throw them off. If you're not making 167,000 in America, I don't know what you're doing. I've been making 167,000 since I was like 11 years old. In America, you can make anything that you want. In the world, you can make anything you want. Number one, you got to be in the right vehicle. Are you in the right vehicle right now? Most of you are in the right vehicle. This is something you can teach your sales team. In order to go get what you really want, you can't be thrown off by external circumstances. Oh man, you know what? Somebody in my family died. Has anybody had something really bad happen to them in their life lately? Anybody have some really hard happen to them? I'm going to tell you, this is really hard for a lot of people to understand, but 1%ers, like true 1%ers, no matter what happens in their life, they show up. It's really hard. It feels like you got the weight of your world on your shoulders and your goals are so big, you can't even sleep at night, damn near. You're driven like this. You're stirred up like this. So somebody dies, something happens, and you're like, oh shit. All right, let me deal with this. And then you got to still stay on track. You still got to push forward. When my purpose was at 5%, I was making 167,000. I didn't have a lot of purpose. Okay? So some would throw me out. Then my friends would say, you want to go drink? And I'd fall apart because I didn't have a big purpose, man. If you want your purpose to grow, if you want your income to grow, it might need to be connected to a bigger responsibility. The bigger your purpose is, the bigger your responsibility is, the bigger your personal power is, the bigger your belief comes. When you look at everybody who's making the 200, 400, 500 million, they got a big purpose. I was sitting with Andy yesterday and I was like, hey, what's your goals? And he's telling me his goals. And he's got big goals. And I said, bro, I think our goals need to even be bigger. You know, because if we're talking about going global, we need to be thinking about how do we operate in 50 countries? Literally have a CEO in 50 countries. How do we have a jet? How are we going to fly between these countries? What are we going to do when we have a problem in real estate in this division, in this company, and we have this and that? Like, how's that going to operate? What are we going to do? How's this going to be? What are we going to think like? How are we going to negotiate? How are we going to talk to our people? If they're that kind of purpose makes it to where if something comes against me, you can't throw me off. How many of you right now, you're caught up in the small things? Some of you need to be caught up in your biggest goals, and that needs to be the only thing that's fueling you. You need to be deeply connected to it. And you might be connected to it right now, but there's a whole nother level of connecting to your purpose that brings you into the 0.1%. The closer you get to your purpose, you don't think about negative thoughts. You don't think about all this other shit. You think about one thing, winning. and you'll sacrifice everything.
Hey, it's the Macklin twins. Thanks for watching the video. If you want the free personal development guide that's going to change your life for free, go ahead and text our phone number 480-780-2203 and it'll change your life forever. Let's get back to the video. Text us right now. Let's go.
1%ers can get distracted because they're so concerned with just killing this one mission, getting to this one vision, that they can miss a lot of things. So you don't necessarily need to sacrifice everything, but if you're a 1%er, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. You will literally kill anything in your way to get to that one goal. And that's when you become a true 1%er. The trick is you can't give up everything. If you want to be a 0.1%er and be truly fulfilled with yourself, you have to figure out a way to stay close to a couple of things. Number one is God for me. Number one is God. When I'm driving in my car right now, I'm not listening to anything else but worship music. I don't listen to motivation. I don't listen to anything else because you know why? I'm always in kill mode, dude. I don't want to do that. I want to be feeling grateful. I want the power of Jesus to be in my heart. I want to be like, oh my God, dude, my life's so great. I called my wife 10 minutes ago and I said, hey, baby, before I get on this meeting, I got to tell you something. There was a time I prayed for you. There was a time that I was sitting here by myself and I was in a really dark place and I was praying to Jesus that I'd have a baby, that I'd have a family, that this crazy ass idea to open the LA group would actually be something. There was a time where I was sitting just with Andy and I said, I'm going to take, this is how my wife's going to look. This is how she's going to be. This is how it's going to, I want to let you know that I'm grateful. And I want to say a prayer with you real quick. She's like, oh my God, what's going on? Do I do that enough? No. It's my problem. Andy's never not grateful. Andy looks at problems as opportunities, the greatest opportunities. If you have the worst thing that comes against him, he's like, dude, you know how great this is? In 2 years, we're going to be teaching somebody how to go through this. In 2 years, because his purpose is attached to helping people. So if you're not going through something, how the hell are you going to help somebody else through it? If you're so perfect, how are you going to help anybody through it? So you got to harness that personal power. You got to harness that personal belief. Let me go to the next one. Number 3, focus on mastery. I could probably hit 95% of you with objections. You don't know, you don't have it mastered. You can hit me with any objection in any industry at any time. I'm not being cocky. I'm not being overconfident. I'll probably impress you. It doesn't matter what industry, because I know my sales game so much, you can put me in front of anybody. But amateurs, they're trying to master 500 different things. They're building. They're always building. They're always doing something. What do you need to be the best at? Does the world recognize that you stand out of everybody? A 1%er is, you can distinguish the look of him in the crowd. You can see it. You can see his eyes. You can tell that when he walks in, it's game time. He's got that energy. He's got that passion. He's got that confidence. He's got that charisma. He believes in him, man. He's not fighting to figure out who his identity is. He knows who his identity is. At 5%, if you're making 160 grand, you probably are still looking through to try to figure out who your identity is, which is okay. I didn't have my identity when I was making 200 grand. I kind of knew who I was. I kind of knew what I was capable of. But it was like I had this Christmas present under the tree and I never unwrapped it. Some of you right now, the scariest thing to you is the thing that you need to do. You're like, I don't like public speaking. That's what you need to do next. Why? Because here's what happens to 1%ers. They'll go do the hard shit and then they'll make the hard shit look easy only because they're chasing more pressure than you. Have you guys ever seen somebody that makes things just look easy? Like it's just another day on the playground? Have you ever seen that in anything? Well, it's because that person put 10,000 hours into one direction. One direction. What is yours? What is yours? Okay, if you want to be a public speaker, I want you to write down right now, what do you need to master? What is it that's your calling? What is it that you're trying to do? What is it that you're trying to accomplish? Write it down and let's become it. Now that I'm attached to that purpose, I'm attached to a higher level of accountability. I'm attached to paying more money for something. The more money, time, and energy you pay for something, the more mastery you will get. So if I go pay $2,000 for something and I'm making 800 grand a year, you're not going to do with it. I'll bet you $1 million. If you're making 800 grand a year and you go invest 700,000 in coaching, you will change. You're like, well, that's stupid. You know, I would never do that. I know, because you probably don't believe it's for you. Probably deep down subconsciously, you're like, that wouldn't be a good plan, blah, 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 blah. And then there's the 1%ers. They'll invest 100% of their income. They'll go in debt to do it because they know in their heart that's their purpose.